I got involved with a rich heiress from Beijing's elite circle for 50 million yuan. Once I made enough, I planned to fake my death, pretend I fell into the sea, vanish without a trace. 3 years later, she caught me at a bar. She smiled calmly, yanked me up from a pile of 18 hostesses, and lightly tilted my chin with the tip of a knife. "Liar," she said. "Left hand or right?" Jennifer and I had been together for 2 years. She was a powerhouse heiress in Beijing's social scene, while I was just an average working stiff. People in her circle didn't think much of me, but no one dared cross me because of Jennifer until yesterday, when young Master Smith picked on me at an auction while Jennifer was away. Young Master Smith, Jennifer's ex-fiancé. She broke off the engagement for me, throwing the Smith family's pride in the dirt. He held a grudge ever since. At the auction, he accidentally spilled red wine on my suit and made it pretty clear he thought I wasn't good enough for her. Me? I'm not one to let that kind of thing slide. Sitting on the edge of the bed, I pinched my thigh hard. My eyes instantly turned red. Jennifer noticed something was off, tossed aside her reports, pulled me into her arms, and played with my buttons. "Luke, I shouldn't have brought work home. Are you mad at me?" I shook my head and buried my face in her chest, looking all wronged. "I'm not mad at you, Jennifer. I lied to you yesterday. The wine on my suit, it was young Master Smith. Said it was an accident. He also said I wasn't good enough for you." I looked up cautiously, my face full of hurt. "Do you think that too?" Maybe she sensed my gaze. Jennifer's eyes flickered darkly for a second, then softened. "Of course not. My Luke deserves the best the world has to offer. I told everyone 2 years ago, anyone who messes with you, messes with me. I'll deal with the Smiths myself." Jennifer's words pulled me back to 2 years ago, when I was just a pretty-faced nobody scraping by with my broke old man. One rainy night, drunk out of my mind, I stumbled into the road and got hit by Jennifer's car. I never imagined the infamous heiress of Beijing would not only pay my hospital bills, but also take care of me every single day. Her rivals noticed the special treatment and came straight to me. "We'll give you money. Just make her fall for you. Get her to dump Smith's kid for your sake." Looking at their smug faces, I sneered. "So what? Money makes you special." 50 million. My pupils shrank. I fought down a grin and looked like a smirking meme cat. You should have led with that. For that kind of cash, I guess I could give it a shot. I got closer to Jennifer. Step by step. Made her fall in love. Just a few whispers in her ear and boom, engagement off. 50 million in my account. But Jennifer spent way more than that on me in the last 2 years. That's when I realized I might actually love her. I decided to come clean. Until I saw her other side. That day, I accidentally stumbled into the basement of her villa. Jennifer had young Master Smith tied to a chair. One by one, she broke his fingers. His screams pierced the air. I hid behind the door, trembling like a leaf, praying she wouldn't see me. "Since your hand slipped, let's just get rid of it." Smith sobbed like a child. "Jennifer, I didn't mean it. I swear. I'll kneel and apologize to Luke. Just please stop." "Please." Jennifer didn't even pause. "You know, I hate liars the most." My legs gave out. I went cold. Jennifer said she hated liars. I thought of all the lies I'd told her. If she ever found out, I wouldn't fare any better than young Master Smith. The more I thought, the colder I felt. Only one thought remained. Run! By the time Jennifer got back to the villa, it was almost dusk. She'd changed clothes, but I could still smell the faint trace of blood on her. Probably got splattered while whipping Smith. She kissed my forehead and sat across from me at the dinner table. "Sorry, Luke. Work dragged me down again." I stole a glance at her between bites. Jennifer saw right through me and smirked, tapping the table lightly with her fingertip. "Go on. What do you want?" I dropped the act and pouted. "My birthday's in a few days. Jennifer, I want to celebrate on the sea." Jennifer, as always, indulged me. "Anything Luke wants," I added. "And I want another 50 million. Her eyes flickered. "What's wrong? The subcard's not enough anymore?" I waved my hands. "It's more than enough. It's just, I've got this OCD. Seeing 0.5 billion in my bank account is bugging me. I want a nice round number." The credit limit on that sub card was way beyond 50 million, but transferring that much at once would raise red flags. I softened my voice. I just really want it. Jennifer smiled, her eyes warm and indulgent. All right, I'll wire it later. But Luke, I'm exhausted today. Tomorrow I have to replan your birthday party. Would be nice to get a little reward. Jennifer rarely played coy, but when she did, her ears turned blush pink. I walked up to her, and she pulled me into her lap. Her kisses started gentle and scattered, then grew deeper, more heated, until they melted my last shred of reason. I carried Jennifer to the bedroom. 3 hours later, she still had no intention of stopping. Frustrated, I pinched her waist and buried my burning face in the covers. Jennifer was a damn liar. I fell for her nonsense again. The yacht she prepared was unbelievably extravagant. To show how much she cared, she invited practically every big name in Beijing. While she wasn't looking, I snuck off to the spot my dad and I had picked to fake my death. I took a deep breath, closed my eyes, and jumped. Seawater rushed into my nose and mouth. There was no rescue boat like we'd planned. As expected, I must have jumped at the wrong place. The waves nearly drowned me. My consciousness faded. When I came to, the first thing I saw was the ceiling. My dad was dozing off nearby. When he saw me wake up, he jolted to life, finally awake. Then, realizing how loud he was, he went back to his usual gruff self. Idiot, can't even jump right. Later, my dad told me Jennifer didn't believe I was dead. She bought dozens of salvage boats, had them searching that stretch of sea day and night. In those days, she practically turned the entire capital upside down. She even put out word whoever found me could name any price. If she could give it, she would. My dad frowned and asked, "Why'd you suddenly decide to leave Jennifer? She's got looks, money, and her health's fine too." At the mention of her health, my face flushed red. That's not the point. I silently pulled out 2 bank cards. 100 million. My dad's jaw dropped. How much? That's more than enough for the rest of our lives, my dad muttered, eyeing the bank cards on the table. The grin on his face was harder to suppress than an AK. He reached for the cards and slid them into his pocket. Honestly, love's kinda overrated anyway. To avoid Jennifer, Dad and I fled thousands of miles away to S City. Just to be safe, Dad and I made a pact. We wouldn't touch Jennifer's money for now. We'd spend the 50 million from the Miller family first. That sum alone was more than enough for us to live out our golden years in style. Over the past 3 years, I fully stepped into the role of a good-looking, rich second gen. The women never stopped coming. Tonight, like usual, I hit up my regular bar, booked a private room, and called in my favorite 18 hostesses to discuss dreams and desires. I'd only had 2 cocktails before my head started spinning and my face flushed red from the booze. "Luke, don't drink so much," said a sweet-faced girl, snatching my glass and popping a grape into my mouth. Blushing, I took my glass back and insisted, "I'm not drunk. I can handle more." A few more drinks later and my head was spinning harder. Then I heard a crisp crash of a beer bottle smashing from the room next door. It happened every few seconds, like clockwork. What the hell? So annoying. Riding the wave of liquid courage, I kicked open the door next door. The room was pitch black, lit only by a faint glow from the hallway. "Cut it out with the bottle smashing, will you?" I yelled. Silence. Absolute silence. But I could feel it. There was more than one person in there, and it was ice cold. I sobered up almost instantly. Swallowing hard, I slammed the door shut and stumbled back to my room. I collapsed onto the soft couch in the center. The hostesses, sensing my off mood, quickly gathered around to comfort me. But before I could even settle in, the door to my room was kicked open. A woman stood in the doorway, dressed in a black coat, eyes sharp and predatory. The face I thought I had long forgotten suddenly burned bright in my mind. I sobered completely and slumped to the floor. Jennifer walked in, a crowd of people trailing behind her like shadows. She strolled up to me, eyes half-lidded, a faint, unreadable smile on her lips. She reached out, yanked me from the arms of the 18 hostesses, and pulled me into her embrace. Jennifer glanced around at the women, then leaned close to my ear and whispered in a chilling voice, "Liar, 3 years, and you've really been living it up." I trembled in her arms, my mind racing through every possible escape strategy. I believe there was no problem amnesia couldn't solve. I shoved Jennifer away, clutched my head, and launched into performance mode. Ah, my head. It hurts. Everyone around me froze, startled by my sudden outburst. With a pained expression, I looked like I was lost in some deep, tragic memory. Jennifer stood to the side, watching me perform without a word. After half a minute, I lifted my pale face and stared at her, hesitant. "Sister," I called out tentatively. I'd once told Jennifer a sob story about having a long-lost sister just to win sympathy. I'd said she was kidnapped by traffickers, and I grew up alone with my dad. Jennifer didn't react. My eyes turned red on cue, and I started crying in front of her. "I thought I'd never see you again. Did those traffickers hurt you?" I put on my soft, helpless act, the fragile little vine concerned for his dear sister. A mocking smile curled at Jennifer's lips, her expression turning colder. Amnesia? Her stare sent chills down my spine, but I had to keep pretending nothing was wrong. Then, unexpectedly, Jennifer actually went along with it. "Looks like Luke finally remembers his sister," she said, sinking onto the leather couch, removing her gold-rimmed glasses. Her voice was husky. "Come here! Sit on your sister's lap!" Jennifer, truly the woman I chose, absolutely twisted. Her eyes glimmered with amusement she couldn't hide. "Huh, who's scared of who?" I kept my face straight and walked right up to her, sitting boldly on her lap. The heat of her body scorched my thighs through my shorts, impossible to ignore. Should have worn pants. The room flickered with dim light, thick with an awkward, sultry tension. The sandalwood scent on Jennifer was dizzying. I remember the first time we met when she hit me with her car and carried me to her car. I caught that same scent then. It made me feel strangely safe. Jennifer wrapped her arms around my waist. The slight calluses on her fingertips brushed my exposed skin, sending a shiver through me. "Sis, this isn't right," I said, pushing her wandering hands away. But hearing me say "sis" only made her laugh through gritted teeth. She grabbed the back of my head and bit my earlobe. I covered my mouth, but a soft gasp escaped anyway. Jennifer stared at me like I was prey, her Adam's apple bobbing slightly. "Luke, after 3 years, still so sensitive? And stop calling me sister." I tried to stay calm and kept lying. "I don't know what you're talking about." Jennifer's expression turned ice cold. She pinned my hand to the table and toyed with a sharp knife, its tip grazing the bones of my fingers. My breath caught. My hand shook uncontrollably. "Liar, left hand or right?" Jennifer's face showed almost no emotion. She rarely looked like this, which made it all the more terrifying. I tried to pull my hand back, but she was too strong. No matter how hard I struggled, it was useless. Jennifer looked up. "Still calling me sister?" I shook my head like a bobblehead, quick to adapt. "Nope, no more. So, what should I call you?" I asked in a tiny voice. "Jennifer?" Good." Her lips were so close to my ear, her words light and ticklish. She suddenly kissed my eyelid, then my brow, the bridge of my nose, the corner of my lips. Tiny kisses fell like rain, turning my mind to mush. The 18 hostesses blushed and looked away. Her men at the door were all pretending to be busy, staring at the ceiling, their shoes, even fixing their clothes with deadly focus. Yep, nothing like pretending to be busy when you're this embarrassed. Jennifer dragged me into her Rolls Royce, slowly and deliberately buckling my seatbelt. She said she wanted to see where I was living now. See just how wonderfully I was living to go through all this trouble to ditch her. I couldn't meet her eyes and mumbled, "Can we not go?" Jennifer stared at me like a suspicious puppy and immediately sensed something was off. She had her men interrogate the 18 hostesses and, lo and behold, one of them had indeed driven me home once. Furious, I got out of the car and flipped her off. She blushed hard, lowering her head in shame. "Sorry, Luke. She just offered too much money." The moment she finished, Jennifer grabbed me and shoved me back into the car. Her eyes were dark with rage, her voice barely holding it back. "Fantastic! So you just tell any woman where you live?" I didn't dare respond. I curled into my coat like a quail, my head buried deep, and this This was just how mad Jennifer was right now. I couldn't even imagine how furious Jennifer would be if she saw someone she shouldn't at my place. My phone was still at the bar, so all I could do was pray Jessica Miller wasn't there. But of course, luck wasn't on my side. Just as I was about to fake losing my key at the door, the apartment swung open from the inside. Jessica stood there holding a bowl of braised ribs, her soft gaze landing on my face with a gentle smile. "You're home early today, Luke? Didn't meet anyone you liked?" But the moment she spotted Jennifer behind me, that smile froze instantly. Jennifer's eyes locked onto Jessica's Ultraman pajamas, and the air turned glacial. I mean, who the hell wears Ultraman pajamas? Jennifer didn't need to guess, they were obviously mine. Her chilling voice came from behind me. "Luke, is this the surprise you prepared for me?" My heart thumped like mad, and cold sweat soaked through my shirt. The tension between Jennifer and Jessica crackled in the air. Jennifer made a call, and her men from earlier showed up in no time. Jessica couldn't fend them off alone. She got beaten up, slapped 80 times while pinned to the floor. Blood smeared her lip as she weakly reached up to wipe it, her gaze no longer soft or sweet, but fierce. "This is unfair. If you've got guts, fight me one-on-one." Jennifer's expression darkened slightly. "Oh?" She casually signaled her men again, and Jessica took another 80 slaps. She finally gave in. Crying, Jessica turned to me for help. "Luke, are you just gonna stand there and let her bully me? It really hurts. If she dares hit me today, she'll hit you tomorrow." Jennifer works day and night at the company. She values her job more than you. She's moody. Not like me, I care about you. I cook your favorite dishes every day. I glanced at Jennifer. The look in her eyes could have sliced Jessica into 1,000 pieces. I didn't dare speak up for Jessica, just gave a half-hearted, "Oh." Jessica froze at my echo of Jennifer's reply. "Wait, you two planned this?" Jennifer's expression flickered, unreadable. She grabbed my hand and led me downstairs, but not before reminding her men to give Jessica another 80 slaps. The chill from the car's AC hit me straight in the chest. Jennifer sat in the driver's seat. Even though her eyes looked calm when she glanced at me, the pressure was suffocating. My heartbeat quickened. I turned my face toward the window to avoid her gaze. Her voice was low and weary. "Nothing to explain? You mean Jessica?" I asked, pretending not to know. My voice took on a hint of grievance. "She's the one who threatened me." Jennifer's eyes flickered. "Threatened you?" I nodded earnestly. "Jessica's dad, the old man of the Miller family, came to me and told me to seduce you. He promised me 50 million if I could get you to break off your engagement, so I had to keep updating him about my progress. Jessica's his youngest daughter, born late in life, and he spoiled her rotten. For some reason, she never liked me. Every time I visited, she'd mock me and call me money boy. I never knew what to say. Sometimes I just glared at her. She's 2 years younger than me, just a brat, really." I couldn't be bothered. After I finished the job and got the money, Dad and I ran off to S-City. But in the 3rd year, Jessica suddenly showed up, apologized, and started saying weird things. She'd grown up nothing to nitpick about her looks anymore. I didn't expect her to move in next door. Wanted to be my neighbor. Of course I said no. "I'm just your money boy," I told her. Jessica looked so awkward and ashamed. "I'm sorry. I was awful to call you that." Then she threatened to tell you where I was if I didn't agree. She had me in a chokehold. To make her leave, I went out every night, flirting with other women at bars. Jessica knew all about it, but she didn't snap. Her words? "Those women are just passing by. I'm the only one who's home." She even stole my key, not for anything else, just to be there when I came home, with soup and food ready to sober me up. She'd cut her finger on purpose and say sweetly, "Just a tiny scratch. Don't worry about me, okay?" I dramatized everything for Jennifer's benefit, even twisted a few details. But for some reason, Jennifer's face only got darker and darker. I grew more nervous the more I talked. "So what? You'd rather be blackmailed than let me find you?" Damn. Of course she'd catch that detail. I knew I couldn't nod, so I stayed silent, shrinking like a quail. Jennifer suddenly leaned in and reached out. I flinched and shut my eyes. But to my surprise, Jennifer pulled me tightly into her arms, wrapped me in her coat, shielding me from the car's cold air. Her ears were tinged with an unusual red, and her eyes shimmered with a fragile, sickly kind of vulnerability I'd never seen before. It tugged at something inside me. "Sorry I scared you today," she whispered. Jennifer pulled me closer, her voice soft and muffled. "You don't know I'm terrified of losing you again. I don't have another life to trade for yours." My body stiffened. I looked at her, confused. "What do you mean, trade your life?" Realizing she'd slipped, Jennifer's voice turned cold again. "Nothing!" I was just rambling. I knew she was hiding something, but if she didn't want to say, I couldn't force her. Jennifer brought me back to the capital. The good news? She didn't punish me for running away for 3 years. The bad news? She tied me to the bed with red velvet. Honestly, I get it. Jennifer's paranoid. She's scared I'll run again. But why the hell did she tie me up like some sacrificial prince? It looked absurdly kinky. I should have known believing in love just means lifelong suffering. But Jennifer didn't know I'd hidden a pair of scissors. I struggled with all my might to cut myself free and tried to sneak out, only to run right into Jennifer's hardcore fanboy. He's He Chen, her childhood friend and most loyal follower. We never got along. He'd once said, "Miss Jennifer, I think Luke's bad news. Don't fall for him." Jennifer gave him a bland nod, then secretly told me about it, and kindly sent him to supervise a coal mine in Africa for a year. I thought the next time we met, he'd roast me alive, but he didn't. He told me that after I jumped into the sea, Jennifer hired dozens of salvage boats to search for me. For months, they found nothing. Still, Jennifer refused to believe I was dead. She went crazy, searching day and night, turning all of Beijing and the surrounding cities upside down. She burned through every connection she had, clinging to the slightest chance I might be alive. But no good news ever came. Jennifer began to fall apart, drowning herself in alcohol day after day. She had never smoked, yet shortly after I disappeared, she picked up the habit. A year passed, the 1-year anniversary of my death. It seemed Jennifer had finally come to terms with it. She called off the salvage search. That day, she wore the white dress I gave her for her birthday. Everyone thought she had moved on even. He Chen believed so. But that night, Jennifer jumped into the sea, clutching a stack of my photos to her chest. Fortunately, He Chen sensed something was wrong from her behavior and secretly followed her car. He dove into the water and dragged her out just in time. She was already unconscious, her body limp, with no signs of struggle, like she'd accepted death peacefully. Hearing this, my chest tightened and my breath hitched. I always thought Jennifer's love for me was just a passing obsession, that she'd get tired of me. She said she hated liars, and I was terrified that if she found out the truth, she'd hate me. I never imagined she'd jump into the sea for me. "What happened after that?" I asked He Chen, desperate to know what Jennifer went through over those 3 years. "Later, she got a lead that might have been connected to you. She chased it all the way overseas. She thought she'd finally found you, but it turned out to be a man who looked exactly like you. Even I couldn't tell the difference. But she knew immediately it wasn't you. That gave her hope. Even though it turned out to be nothing, she didn't stop searching for the next 2 years, no matter how many times she was let down." I lowered my head, unable to meet He Chen's eyes. I never thought my disappearance would do this to Jennifer. Because no matter how gentle Jennifer pretended to be in front of me, it never changed the fact that she was the heiress who made all of Beijing tremble. I never thought I mattered that much to her. When Jennifer returned, the sky outside was tinged with the glow of dust. She walked into the bedroom and saw I had already undone the velvet ribbons, but she wasn't angry. The entire villa was staffed with her people, so she had no fear of me running away. "Sorry I'm late. Those old board members were a pain in the ass." I suddenly threw my arms around her, my throat tightening. Sensing something was wrong, Jennifer asked with concern, "Did someone upset you?" I shook my head, hooked my arms around her neck, and kissed her. Maybe because she'd just gotten home. Her lips were still cold. Jennifer froze, then took control, gripping the back of my head. The night dragged on. Outside, the wind rustled the reeds and stirred the pond all night long. In a daze, memories of Jennifer and me resurfaced. On countless nights, she used to pull me into her arms and quietly listen as I chattered about my day. Most of it was nonsense, the kind my dad found annoying. But Jennifer always listened intently, eyes fixed on me. She took me to every kind of event, introduced me with pride, like I was her one and only treasure. Once, for a watch I liked, she flew abroad just to get it. Then one day, like Doraemon, she magically pulled it from her pocket and surprised me. It was like she wasn't that fearsome heiress everyone talked about, at least not when she was with me. Back then, I'd grown so used to her special treatment. I thought it was normal. I only felt like Jennifer was good to me. That was all. The next day, Jennifer reluctantly let go of me. After all the chaos last night, I wanted to sleep in. Seeing she couldn't wake me, Jennifer sighed and gave me a pampered little kiss on the forehead. When I finally got up, I was lured downstairs by the smell of food. The maid, who usually did all the cooking, told me Jennifer had made everything herself and told her to reheat it when I woke up so I wouldn't eat it cold. A few days later, I told Jennifer I needed to go back to S City to deal with some property stuff. Jennifer didn't feel at ease and followed me there. While she was busy with work, I snuck out in the car, planning to retrieve my phone from the bar. But once I stepped out, I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching me. It made my skin crawl. I whipped around but saw nothing. I was on an overpass about to hit the brakes, only to realize they weren't working. Damn it! The brakes were shot. The car sped forward, completely out of control. My mind went blank. I tried to time a jump, but then I locked eyes with someone. The Smith heir's car was running parallel to mine. His face was twisted with rage. He sneered at me through the window. "Die, you bastard," he shouted, then rammed his car straight into mine. The impact flung my car off the overpass. Below was a deep, dark sea. Water surged into my nose and mouth. I tried to get out, but the door wouldn't budge. I thrashed, struggled, called for help. All I heard was the gurgling of water around me. This might be it, my second near-death experience. My vision blurred. My mind slipped into darkness. When I woke again, pain exploded in my skull. I forced my eyes open. Above me was a wooden beam. Groggy, I sat up and looked around. I was in a shabby wooden hut. The only clean spot was the bed I was on. Everything else was covered in cobwebs. A woman burst in, as if she'd heard me stir. "Luke, you're awake?" I called out, unsure. "Jessica?" Her eyes lit up. "You remember me. I thought you'd have amnesia." Truth was, I only remembered her, suddenly showing up and asking to live next door. Everything else was a blur. I looked at her, confused. Why was she the only one I remembered? But deep in my heart, there was always another name. Jennifer. It felt both foreign and familiar. I asked Jessica, "Who's Jennifer?" Jessica froze. Realizing I really had amnesia, her expression shifted. She forced a casual tone. "Just some villain who likes to beat people up." "Beat people up? A villain?" I asked curiously. "Did she beat you?" Jessica's face turned beet red. "Excuse me? I'm loaded, filthy rich. She lays a hand on me, I'll bankrupt her." I looked around the rundown hut. It was hard to reconcile her words with our current setting. I had a feeling she was just showing off, but since she'd saved me, I couldn't exactly call her out. Jessica told me to stay in bed and rest while she went to catch something for dinner. She also said she'd contacted her people and that we'd have to rough it together on this deserted island for a few days. Jessica was gone for a long time. Night gradually cloaked the entire island in darkness, with only a dim yellow light flickering inside the hut. Everything else was pitch black. Finally, she returned. I stared into the bucket at a crab barely bigger than my fingernail and locked eyes with her. "This is dinner?" Jessica awkwardly turned her face away. "I didn't think the fish would be so hard to catch." "I couldn't get any, only found a few crabs," I said. Impressive. The next few days, Jessica and I survived together on the island. Other than starving, everything else was fine. The scenery was stunning, the pale blue ocean crystal clear, but neither of us had the mood to enjoy it. Jessica's people still hadn't shown up, and we were almost out of drinking water. If we couldn't find more or get rain soon, we wouldn't starve, we'd die of thirst. Luckily, Jessica found a tree on the other side of the island with some unknown fruit. The tree was tall, and Jessica volunteered to climb it. She nearly fell a few times, and I watched from below, heart in my throat. Good news. She was just a few inches away from grabbing the fruit. Bad news. She lunged upward and snapped the branch. The fruit came crashing down and smacked me square in the head. I didn't even have time to dodge. Honestly, I always knew this woman would be the death of me. I just didn't think it'd be like this. When I opened my eyes again, Jessica was sitting at my bedside. "You're awake?" she said excitedly, grabbing my hand. But she didn't know I remembered everything. All of it, including Jennifer. My voice was cold and low. "Jessica, who is Jennifer?" Her hand trembled. Like before, she lied casually. "Just some violent villain." "The same one who sent people 3 times to carry you back?" Jessica jumped to her feet. "How do you know that?" I gave her a crooked smile. "What do you think?" Realizing my memory had returned, she looked lost, blushing furiously. "You remember everything." That night, while Jessica and I were asleep, the door was suddenly flung open. Jessica shot awake and shook me hard. "Get up! I told you my people would come save us!" But it wasn't her people. It was Jennifer. Her eyes were bloodshot as she rushed in and wrapped her arms around my bandaged head, completely ignoring Jessica. Her voice trembled with emotion. "Luke, you scared me again." Jessica looked like she'd swallowed a pile of dung. Jennifer carried me onto the helicopter. Jessica stood beneath it and asked, "You're really going to leave me here to die?" Jennifer didn't even glance her way, inspecting my wounds with clinical focus. What else would I do? "You're cold." In the end, Jessica backed down, and only then did Jennifer begrudgingly allow her aboard. In the back seat, Jessica glared at me, and Jennifer locked in each other's arms, her jaw clenched so tight I thought she'd crack a molar. Jennifer told me young Master Smith had already been arrested and charged with attempted murder. Justice would soon be served. That first night back in the capital, Jennifer clung to me in her sleep and refused to let go, like she feared I'd disappear again. That night, I had a strange dream. I saw Jennifer at her high school graduation, standing beside a boy. He was smiling, eyes curved like crescents, so strikingly handsome even through the haze of the dream. I walked closer and finally saw the boy's face. I couldn't believe my eyes. He looked almost exactly like me, maybe 90%, but he was nothing like me in demeanor. He had sweet dimples and a gentle, charming vibe. He was the picture of a polished, tender gentleman. He tugged shyly at Jennifer's school uniform sleeve, ears flushed red. Jennifer glanced at him with a soft smile and took a step closer. Out of sight from others, she gently hooked her pinky with his. Then, the dream shifted. The next scene showed a completely different Jennifer. She had shed her youth. Dressed in an elegant black dress, she sat in front of an easel. I stepped closer and saw she was sketching that same boy. After finishing, she locked the drawing in a safe in her study. The safe was filled to the brim, hundreds of sketches, stacked into a small mountain. Jennifer never let me near that safe. Said it was full of corporate secrets. But in the dream, it held nothing but those portraits. Suddenly, Jennifer stood up, turned to face me, and looked straight into my eyes. Her stare was ice cold, as if she could see me. I jolted awake, sitting up in bed, gasping. "Luke, what's wrong?" Jennifer woke up, startled. "Nothing, just a nightmare," I said, catching my breath. "I'm going to the kitchen for some water." Jennifer immediately got up. "I'll get it for you. No need. I'll go myself. I need the bathroom, too." She didn't insist, just gave me a coat so I wouldn't catch cold. I snuck into Jennifer's study. According to the dream, she hid the key under the rug. Sure enough, I found it there. I took a deep breath and slid it into the keyhole. With a click, the safe opened. Inside were only drawings of that boy. My breathing quickened as I flipped through them one by one. On the back of each sketch were handwritten notes. "Tony, I can't sleep tonight. I miss you terribly. Tony, I want to see those bright eyes of yours again. They hold the whole universe. You always say mine are prettier. Fool, that's only because you're in them. This world is so bleak and absurd. I can't see any light. I miss you so much. Tony, if I could see you again, I don't know what kind of girl you'd like. But it doesn't matter. I'll become whatever you want me to be, as long as you're happy. Tony, I'm so afraid this is all just some cruel joke. Are you really still alive? Are you somewhere in the world waiting? It's unbearable. After reading dozens of these, I finally learned the boy's name, Tony Camel. A beautiful name. Each sketch was dated. The one on top was dated the day Jennifer hit me with her car. After that, she never drew again. I vaguely recalled that day after the accident, Jennifer got out of the car and stared into my face, her eyes red and glassy. So that day, was she staring into my eyes because she saw me or because she saw Tony in me? I didn't dare dig deeper. My heart felt like it was being crushed. I wanted so badly to confront her with these drawings, but I knew if I ripped this illusion apart, Jennifer and I would truly be over. I threw the thick stack of drawings right at Jennifer's head. She stood frozen, staring at the sketches scattered around her. I clenched my fists. Nothing to explain? Jennifer suddenly hugged me, her voice disturbingly calm. So you know? Then she whispered, Luke, when will you finally remember me? What do you mean? I was stunned. Jennifer pushed me down onto the bed so I'd sit up straight, then looked into my eyes seriously. Luke, what I'm about to say might sound insane, but I swear every word is true. Jennifer told me we had known each other in our previous life. In that past life, she was the adopted daughter of a powerful Beijing family, and I was the son of a wealthy family from Shanghai, transferred to a school in Beijing. The moment I got there, I was smitten by Jennifer, the school's legendary top student. I went all out chasing her, but she didn't even look at me. Everyone called me a simp. But they never expected that after the college entrance exams, Jennifer and I actually got together. We fell deeply in love, even talked about marriage. But tragedy struck. I got into a car accident. I could have survived, but the drunk driver panicked and ran. By the time someone found me, I had already bled out. Jennifer buried me with deep sorrow and swore she'd never love another. A year after my death, Jennifer heard a voice. It asked her if she'd trade her life for one more chance for me to live again. The catch was, in the next life, I wouldn't be the rich Shanghai heir anymore. No one would know who I'd become. Jennifer asked, Then how will I find Tony? The voice said, Once she found me, her heart would ache unbearably. As absurd as it sounded, Jennifer believed it. In this life, she was again the adopted daughter of a Beijing tycoon, and she never stopped searching for me. Then one day, she hit me with her car by accident. Tears welled in her eyes. That moment, I was so thankful my Luke had come back. I didn't have to rely on those sketches to survive anymore. I was dazed, but Jennifer didn't sound like she was lying. Wait, this isn't fair. Why do you get to be born into a rich family again while I end up a broke loser in the capital? Jennifer replied, Luke, is that really the point? How is it not the point? I felt genuinely wronged. My broke-ass dad and I used to pick up trash just to survive. And now you're telling me I used to be some rich heir? Who could take that kind of emotional whiplash? That night, Jennifer and I talked until 3 a.m. I couldn't stay awake any longer. Wrapped my arms around her, and told her to finish the story tomorrow. In my sleep, my head ached terribly. Memories of my past life flooded my mind like a tidal wave. I remembered everything my history with Jennifer, and even fragments of Jessica. I called Jessica. Luke, is that you? Yeah, I cleared my throat. Jessica, I remember everything, even the past life. Silence fell on the other end. So you... I remember. You were the weirdo. Jessica snapped. You're the weirdo. Your whole family's weird. It was a secret crush, okay? Ever heard of that? I held back a laugh. Oh. In our past life, Jessica was a top student from a dirt-poor family. The class bullies always dumped their books and jackets on her desk. One day, she accidentally spilled water on one of their coats. The guy grabbed her collar, demanding she pay for it. Jessica clutched her faded school uniform sleeves, face burning red. I happened to pass by her classroom and saved her from that mess. After that, I started feeling like someone was constantly watching me, following me. One day, I heard a scream from behind. Jessica had been tailing me and fell right into an open manhole. Once again, I felt how unfair life was. In this life, Jessica's filthy rich, and I'm the one stuck broke. Jessica said that in the second year after I ran away, she suddenly remembered everything. She went crazy looking for me. When it came to Jennifer, she hesitated. Luke, if you're with Jennifer, you'll be happy, right? Did you ever like me, even just a little? I was silent. I'm sorry, Jessica. Her voice trembled as she said, Then promise me you'll be happy. Jennifer had just walked out of the bedroom and overheard our conversation. She pulled me into her arms and bit my earlobe with a hint of jealous mischief. Luke, you wore me out talking until 3 a.m. last night. I'm exhausted. I deserve a reward. I knew she was saying it for Jessica's benefit. Jessica fumed. Seriously? Jennifer, you bitch! Jennifer took the opportunity to hang up, leaving Jessica yelling into the void. I pretended to be annoyed and pinched Jennifer's soft waist, but didn't stop her. Later, Jennifer and I went to Iceland. Endless glaciers, howling winds, and pink twilight stretched across the sky. It felt like a dream. I carried her as we walked along the black sand beach. She buried her head in my coat as the waves crashed nearby. I could clearly hear her pounding heartbeat. After we returned to China, we didn't go straight back to Beijing. Instead, we went south to a coastal city called Y City. At dusk, the streetlights came on, casting a soft glow that made the night feel less dark. After dinner, we strolled aimlessly. Occasionally, Jennifer looked up. The streetlights bathed her in a gentle light. She took off her coat and draped it over my shoulders, then wrapped her scarf around me. I tucked my face into the warm fabric, when suddenly, I felt a cool tickle on my lashes. Snowflakes, light as feathers, drifted from the sky. Jennifer, it's snowing. Do you want to head back to the hotel? She shook her head. I want to walk a little more. So we walked, aimlessly. Jennifer smiled softly. Okay. She slipped her fingers between mine. The warmth was familiar and soothing. In that moment, Jennifer wasn't some heiress from Beijing's elite. She was just my Jennifer. The snow fell harder and harder, like it would never end. Before long, snowflakes dotted our hair. The road ahead was long and endless, but thankfully, the streetlights kept it bright. Our goodbye last life had come too suddenly. Thankfully, fate gave Jennifer and me another chance. This time, I'd never ever let go of her hand. And just like that, Jennifer and I grew old together.